Good day everyone, I am Michael, the moderator for this webinar. I welcome everyone for today's webinar, which is Successfully Dealing with Difficult People, including Remotely 2024. I would now like to introduce our presenter for today, Chris Divani. Chris Divani is the founder and president of Pinnacle Performance Improvement Worldwide. He has appeared hundreds of times on radio and television interview programs to discuss mergers and acquisitions. Chris is an award-winning Toastmasters International competition speaker. Chris holds degrees in Management Studies and Organizational Behavior from Boston University. I would now like to hand over the floor to the speaker. Over to you, Chris.
Thank you, Michael, and welcome everyone as we address successfully dealing with difficult people, including remotely. In fact, we're going to focus in on 5 especially difficult kind of people that we have to deal with and how to deal with them. So with no further ado, I want to help you with other people on your team. The first step is we need to relate. We need to attend to ourselves, and we also need to agree on our desired outcome. The second step is to strategize or brainstorm. We need to implement our action plans. So we execute the steps. Another step is this. It's a simple 4-step exercise you can try anytime with your team. And here's a summary of what people have said. People have said, knowing what we have in common with each other helps us stay on the same page, aiming toward the same goals, and communicating effectively with each other, and how we can continue to help each other toward teaming success. One of the challenges that we've been dealing with, and I will tell you, I've been dealing with this for a very long time, but this really came to a head, giving team members a business roadmap that will keep them headed in the right direction. A 4-item weekly agenda. Number 1, what are the key projects we are working on this week? Number 2, what is going on in the marketplace? Recognizing outstanding performers for questions and answers. So what we do, of course, we prepare our agenda and then we facilitate it. We distribute and discuss our communication plan. We discuss and clarify our norms and protocols, and a very important ground rule. What are my action items this week? And then we make sure that we distribute our meeting minutes immediately. How can you create crystal clear procedures? How can you create crystal clear procedures that off-site staff will follow to the letter? So there, as you could see, we outlined the specific procedures people have to follow. What are the benefits of fostering so-called friendly competition between team members? Well, what we found is this. We have found that this works very well for people in sales and customer service. How do we smooth things over when we have to lay down the law and enforce an unpopular policy from a distance? We schedule that as its own agenda item. Then, step 2, we try to prepare for the discussion. Then step 3, we try to anticipate any challenges. We remind everyone of the value to the team for enforcing the policy. What are the actions we need to take to slow down emails and phone calls? Let's verify our team communication plan norms and protocols. Let's ensure that we have standard reporting forms distributed and available. Number 3, communicate clearly how frequently certain forms are to be submitted. And then if a team member experiences a need to communicate with you, seek out a peer. Perform at the highest level possible. Maintain order while we are managing people often long distance. How to give our team members a roadmap. And finally, the actions we need to take. Find ways to change. Change helps each and every one of us to grow and to develop. Also, resistance is actually protection for someone. So when we approach someone who's resisting us, we definitely need to take their resistance seriously. Now, what are some typical responses to resistance? Now, what are some of the different types of resistance? What do we need to do when we deal with resistance? Let's look for behavioral clues. So to summarize, first of all, we need to recognize that resistance always exists. We're going to focus in now on 5 different types of so-called difficult people. Cranky, aggressive, subtle snipers, chronic complainers, silent. I'm sharing with you a couple of quotes from Coping with Difficult People by Dr. Robert Ramson. So now we're going to take a close look at people who tend to be cranky. Some people may be purposefully cranky. Crankiness is simply a reflection of their own turmoil. How to better deal with someone who is chronically cranky and always getting their own way. Try to determine the real message the person is telling you. LAST approach, L-A-S-T. Listen, apologize, solve, and thank. Don't remain silent. Now let's look at aggressive people. Boy, that dude just jumped out at us, didn't he? Overly aggressive people expect people to do one of two things: run away from them or react with rage. Here's some tips. You're going to stand up for yourself, but you're never going to fight or argue with them. They are highly emotional and aggressive. You are assertive and you are calm. Well, how about people who are so-called subtle snipers? These are people who are experts in pot shots and sneak attacks in very subtle ways. Respond to them with a question. They will usually respond with either a denial or try to volley the responsibility back to you. Let's look at chronic complainers. If you work with someone who is a chronic complainer, keep a couple of things in mind. Someone who is a chronic complainer is often fearful. That's right, fearful. Here's, though, the key reason why you need to deal with someone who is a chronic complainer. They bring everyone else down. Here's some suggestions for how to deal with chronic complainers. Never try to argue them out of their negativity. Respond with your own optimistic expectations. And then there are people who are silent. Please, silent people are timid and they often try to avoid conflicts and avoid responsibility. Someone who is consistently silent gets away with not talking. So here are some suggestions for how to deal with someone who's being silent. Ask them questions and wait at least 1 full minute. How about some things we should not do? The first don't is this: never take the difficult person's behavior personally. Their behavior is habitual. They're often acting the same way. Also, they behave this way with most people. Don't make excuses for the difficult person's behavior. Think of other people who have faced adversity. Don't fight back. Remember, someone's aggressive with you, you're going to be assertive in response. Don't try to beat them at their own game. Don't try to appease them. One more don't. Don't try to change the difficult person. Remember, you cannot change another person, nor can you change how they're going to react or respond to what you say or do. What you can change is how you respond to them. You cannot change other people. You can only change how you respond to their behavior. By changing your responses, they may decide to change or they may not. However, you will feel better. You've tried a different approach. And keep practicing. With practice, you break the other person's ability to interfere with your effectiveness. You're going to stand up for yourself. They are aggressive, you are assertive, and you'll also feel more confident, and you'll be able to better enjoy your work days. We're at the point now where you want to decide for yourself. So let's move forward. Let's turn things back now to Michael, our host. Thank you, Michael. I just want to leave you all with one final thought. You've been taking notes today. So as soon as we finish, just take 2 minutes and review the notes you've taken and circle or highlight 3 notes you've taken today, which are especially meaningful and important to you, and make these 3 notes your action plan. Because when you take an action plan away from our webinar today, you honor yourself for having participated, and you also honor the person who made the financial investment so you could participate today. Michael, that's a final thought. Why don't we turn things back to you?
Thank you, Chris. Once again, thank you so much for the great presentations. So that does conclude the session for today. Thank you everyone for participating. You may all disconnect now. Have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.